Bronco NV 3550 swap. Now we need to measure to cut the hole in the tunnel right here. Then this truck gets a twin stick transfer case shifter, so you can have independent control of the low and high range, front and back also. Let's measure this out and make a cut on the top of the tunnel so we can get the transmission shifter in. Okay, now we have the top of the tunnel marked. Get it ready. See how well it fits. Nice tight fit. You don't want to cut it too big. Bam. Perfect. Okay, so now that we know that it fits, we can pull it back out. And need to put a small bead of silicone around here. Okay, so now the shifter's temporarily in place just to kind of cover up the hole. I don't know if you guys can see that bracket right here. That's what the twin stick shifter bolts onto. What I'm having to do now is cut this right here, right along in here, so that these two shafts are fully independent of each other, so that it can work properly. And also I'm going to have to notch this out a little bit bigger so that it fits in place. I'm mocking everything up right now. I actually had to modify this bracket slightly so that it works and it gives me more clearance, so that it pushes the levers further towards the passenger side, so I don't have to grind out as much in here. So let's get on with it. So you guys can see how that looks. Now the only other thing I have to do, like I said, is clearance that U shape more towards the driver's side so that the shifter fits in place. So I'll get to doing that and then I'll show you guys how it looks all done. There it is. Twin stick shifters are installed. Bracket clearance. These two pieces right here, you can see where I clearanced it. Bolt through it. Make sure you guys put the big washer on the outside. You can see it working just fine. So now the shifters move independently of each other. Before we put everything back together, I gotta pull this bracket, paint it, make sure it doesn't rust. We'll throw a little bit of red Loctite on the end of that. Make sure this sucker doesn't back out. It's all installed. Had to clearance the floor just the hair right around in here so that this lever moved freely. It was rubbing, so remember, put Loctite on that end of that bolt as it goes in that bracket so it doesn't back out. It goes snug. You can't torque it too much, otherwise you won't be able to move the shifters. So it's all installed, all done. So there it is. Decided to make a panel that just bolts on. It'll serve as an access panel for regular maintenance or anything else if anything goes wrong with it, so it'll be easy to get to. There's the shifters right there, waiting on the boot for the transmission shifter and the shifter knob. So that's it in here for right now. Now we get to move on to changing the brakes. Now I get to finish up all the brakes. I installed this about a week ago. It's a disc brake conversion from Willwood for an early Bronco. It's a 4-piston back, new parking brake cables. proportioning valve installed prior of installing the whole assembly in the truck. The old proportioning valve is out. On these, you have to put a plug right here just to block off one of the lines. So let's get we got that all in place right where it needs to be. Got good clearance everywhere. So now we have to run the 2 lines from the proportioning valve down way back in there for the factory lines, and let's see how that works out. So there's a bracket installed. So the line on my left, it's the one that goes to the front brakes, and the one on the right goes to the rear brakes. Lines are installed, all done. We'll run these wires back down in the frame rail, hook up to where the old brake switch used to be for warning light in the dash. So now all that's left is get the system led and put the steering back together. So right here is the actual push rod that comes out from the back of the booster. You guys need to adjust it to the proper length.
I can do this. So just like that. It's a washer right there. And then the pin, just like so. Test it. Looks like it works just fine. Then you gotta tighten the jam nut for the adjustment rod.
The NB3550 transmission swap. You can buy it at Wild Horse Pass 4x4. I mean Wild Horse's 4x4 or Tom's Bronco parts. This is an early Bronco kit. Essentially it's a transmission out of a Jeep. It turns it from a 3-speed to a 5-speed. Original Ford bell housing. Advanced adapters kit. You do have to clearance right up there on the transmission to be able to get that bolt in there on both sides on the top, and you do have to let the bell housing go on. This is their cross member right here. Kit comes, transmission, all the adapters, mounts and everything. Here's what I was working on earlier. There's the twin stick shifter for the transfer case. It does utilize the stock Dana 20 transfer case. I know I'm missing a bolt there. We're gonna have to do a little bit of exhaust work to get everything to go back in place. You know, nothing fancy. So just trying to make it a little bit more reliable, a little bit better to drive for the customer. Here's those 6-piston Willwood brakes that I was easy to go on. It is a little bit pricey. It's well worth the money though. What's up everybody? Back over here again. Finally we got that 70 Bronco done. I was doing the NB3550 transmission swap. I've been driving it a little bit, just putting it through the ringer. It's getting picked up today. I'll show it to you guys real quick. 1970 Bronco, 5-speed manual transmission conversion. Willwood disc brakes all the way around. Nice little cruiser. Nothing special about it. It's got a 2.5-inch suspension lift with a 1-inch body lift that was necessary to be able to do the 5-speed manual transmission swap. Nice part about it now, you can actually go down the road past 40 miles an hour not having the engine be screaming. So it's dirty, you know, it's an old truck. See how everything looks under the engine base a little dirty. Need to do a little bit better job of cleaning it out, but let's see here, one hand. It's just a small block bone stock 302, nothing special. Goes down the road pretty nice though. That's what I like about this truck. You're not fighting it when you're driving it, so pretty nice to drive. I'll take you guys here in a little drive with me and back to the shop. Fires right up. Wrong shifter knob. Customer doesn't know yet which one he wants to go with, so we left it alone. There's the twin sticks. Probably one of the nicest parts about this conversion is that the customer went with a B&M short throw shifter for the truck. So finding the gears, really nice, really short throw. Goes down the road beautiful.